In an old, forgotten corner of town stood a house that sagged under the weight of its own secrets. This is where 10-year-old Maya lived, a girl with a spirit as bright as the summer sun and the curiosity that often led her into small adventures. One sweltering afternoon, while exploring the dusty, forbidden attic of her grandmother's house, she stumbled upon something that would change her life forever. Behind a stack of old trunks, she found a loose floorboard. Prying it open, she discovered a hidden compartment. Inside, nestled among faded photographs and letters, was a worn leather journal. The journal belonged to a man named Thomas, a jazz musician from the 1950s. His elegant script filled the pages, not with tales of woe, but with soaring notes of hope and determination. Thomas wrote about being an aspiring artist in a world that wasn't always kind. He described facing endless obstacles and prejudice, which he called the invisible ropes that tried to hold him back. He felt tied down, not by physical restraints, but by society's expectations and limitations. Yet, his spirit refused to be silenced. Maya spent hours in that attic, captivated by Thomas's story. He wrote about the secret room where he practiced his trumpet day and night, a small, soundproofed space he had built himself. It was his sanctuary, a place where he could be free. He filled the journal with musical notations, dreams of playing in the grandest theaters, and affirmations of his own worth. He wrote, "They can try to bind my hands, but they can never bind my soul. My music will fly even if I cannot." Inspired by his resilience, Maya felt a new sense of purpose. She had always loved to draw, but was often too shy to show her art to anyone, afraid of what they might think. Thomas's words felt like a direct message to her. She realized that she too had invisible ropes holding her back, her own fears and self-doubt. If Thomas could dream of breaking free from his struggles, so could she. She took out her own sketchbook and, for the first time, drew not just what she saw, but what she felt. She drew Thomas playing his trumpet, the notes swirling around him like golden ribbons, breaking the invisible ropes that bound him. She drew herself, standing on a stage, holding her own art, with a crowd of smiling faces looking up at her. The attic, once a place of dusty memories, became her own sanctuary, her own creative space. Following clues from the journal, Maya discovered that the secret room Thomas mentioned was actually a hidden nook behind a false wall in the basement. It was small and bare, but to Maya, it felt like a sacred place. On the wall, faintly carved into the wood, were the words, "My spirit is my own." Seeing that message, etched by a man who refused to be defeated, solidified Maya's resolve. Maya decided to share Thomas's story. She showed the journal to her grandmother, who remembered faint stories of a talented musician who used to live in the neighborhood but had disappeared suddenly. Together, they did some research at the local library. They found an old newspaper article celebrating a local jazz band's success. And there he was, in a small photo, a smiling Thomas holding his trumpet. He had made it. He had broken free and his music had soared, just as he had dreamed. Maya's life was transformed. She started an after-school art club, creating a space for other kids to express themselves freely without fear of judgment. She organized a small exhibition in the community center, displaying her art alongside copies of pages from Thomas's journal. She told his story, a story of a man who was metaphorically tied up but found freedom through his passion. Her voice, once timid, was now confident and clear. She learned that sometimes the greatest discoveries aren't treasures of gold or silver, but stories of human strength that inspire us to untie the knots of our own fears. Just like Thomas, Maya found her own voice, and in doing so, she helped others find theirs too. She proved that even the smallest person in the quietest corner of the world can make a beautiful and lasting sound. Find your passion, your music, and let it be the key that sets you free. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring Kaylees. See you next time.